The golden handles of the mahogany door clicked quietly as Ethan Cole, a 42-year-old tech tycoon and self-made billionaire, pushed it open. The house was unusually silent. The distant ticking of the grandfather clock echoed through the vast marble foyer of the mansion nestled in the Hamptons. He wasn't supposed to be home until the weekend. Business had unexpectedly wrapped up earlier, and for once, he looked forward to a quiet dinner with his 8-year-old daughter, Lily, his sunshine after a stormy marriage and his only source of true peace. But as he stepped inside, briefcase still in hand, Ethan sensed something was wrong. The housekeeper, Maria, didn't greet him at the door. The scent of roasted chicken, Lily's favorite, was missing. Even the Labrador, Max, didn't come bounding to the door like he always did. "Lily?" Ethan called out, his voice sharp against the silence. He dropped his keys and moved quickly through the house. And then, he saw her. Lily was sitting on the floor of her pink-painted room, her tiny legs drawn close to her chest. Her favorite stuffed bunny hung loosely in her arms, and her eyes, usually full of light and curiosity, looked hollow. But what shattered Ethan's composure was the red mark streaked across her left cheek. A swollen, angry red handprint. His blood ran cold. He dropped to his knees, gently touching her chin. "Lily, baby, who did this to you?" She flinched. And his world stopped. Tears welled in her eyes. She didn't speak. She just looked past him like he wasn't there. Ethan turned, his mind racing. Who had been here? Who was watching her? Maria? No, Maria loved Lily like her own. But there was someone else, someone new. The nanny. Clara. Hired just 2 weeks ago. Background checks had been done. References called. But Ethan had barely spoken to her, he had been too caught up in mergers and board meetings. He had left his daughter in the hands of a stranger. Clara was gone when Ethan searched the house. So was her small suitcase. She had run. Ethan found Maria in the pantry, shaken and crying. I left for 20 minutes, sir. Just to get milk. I didn't know she would." Ethan didn't yell. He couldn't. His heart was clenched too tightly to allow it. Instead, he sat in Lily's room all night, holding her. Guilt crushed him. He had always told himself he was doing everything for her, building a legacy, an empire. But what good was an empire if his daughter sat in silence, nursing the pain of someone's cruelty? The next morning, Ethan cancelled every meeting for the week. He called the police, and Clara was found 3 days later. She denied everything, until they showed her the doorbell camera footage. The case moved quickly. But Ethan knew legal justice wouldn't erase what had already been imprinted in Lily's heart. He hired therapists. He made time. Real time. No more meetings during dinner. No more calls during bedtime. No more missed weekends. Slowly, Lily began to speak again, first just single words, then full sentences. Ethan learned the language of her fears, her smiles, her nightmares. One night, 3 months later, Lily climbed into his lap after he finished reading her a bedtime story. "Daddy," she whispered, "will you still love me if I'm scared forever?" His throat closed up. "I'll love you forever. Even if you're scared. Even if you're quiet. Even if you cry. I will always, always love you." That night, he cried harder than he had the day she was born. But the story didn't end there. One Sunday afternoon, Ethan took Lily to a local shelter as part of her healing therapy, helping animals, connecting with other kids. There, he met a young social worker named Erin, who had left a lucrative career in law to work with children who had suffered abuse. Her eyes held strength, the kind Ethan hadn't seen in years. They spoke for hours. She didn't treat him like a billionaire. She treated him like a father. A father trying to fix what he had broken. Over the next several weeks, Erin and Lily bonded. And through Aaron's work, Ethan began to learn about the foster care system, about children hurt worse than Lily, about parents who had no resources, no power, and no way out. It lit a fire in him. He began funding children's shelters anonymously. He bought an old building and turned it into a recovery home for young victims of abuse. Counseling, housing, education, all free. But more than that, he started spending weekends there. Helping kids paint the walls, reading to them, learning their names. And that's when something incredible happened. One day, as he sat in a corner reading to a small group of children, Lily tugged at his sleeve. She whispered something into his ear. "I want to help them too, Daddy. Can I?" He looked down at his daughter, still tender, still healing, but now blooming again with quiet courage. He nodded, fighting tears. "You already are." Years passed. Ethan's name quietly appeared behind several major national foundations dedicated to child protection, healing, and reform. He declined interviews, photos, and praise. But those close to him knew the truth. They knew that once, a powerful man had come home early, and froze at the sight of his daughter's pain. And instead of burying it with wealth, he turned that moment into purpose. On Lily's 18th birthday, now strong, smart, and determined, she stood on the stage at a charity gala organized by their foundation, speaking to hundreds of donors, survivors, and families. She wore a soft blue dress and held a microphone with steady hands. My story could have ended in silence. But it didn't. Because my dad came home early that day. And instead of just fixing what was broken, he decided to fix what was breaking for so many others. Applause erupted. From the front row, Ethan sat, eyes glistening, heart full. And in that moment, he didn't feel like a billionaire. He just felt like a father. Sometimes, the most important meetings are the ones we don't plan. Sometimes, a single moment, a red mark, a quiet room, a frightened child, can open a door to a lifetime of healing. It takes courage to face what we missed. It takes love to never miss it again. The most precious gift we can give our children is not wealth, but presence. In a world that often measures success by fortune and fame, we must remember, no amount of money can heal a wounded heart or replace a moment lost. Love, time, and protection are the true currencies of parenthood. Sometimes, it takes a moment of pain to open the eyes of the powerful, but when love leads the way, even broken pieces can build something beautiful. Healing begins when we stop running from the pain and start standing beside those who need us most. Compassion isn't weakness, it's the quiet force that changes lives.